It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hardworking entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute the big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this particular episode, we have the one and only LeAnne, who's in the building. LeAnne Dole, did I get that right?
Dolce.
LeAnne Dolce, who's in the building. And she was talking about wake up happy sis. Now, I have no idea what that is, but we're going to figure that out. What's going on, LeAnne? How are you?
I am fabulous, Shay. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Special shout out to Taran for putting us together. By the way, it's always good to connect with other folks. And I know we got a thing here called Wake Up Happy Sis. But before we get to that, one of your mantras is stop just surviving and thrive unapologetically. My question to you is, what's holding women back today? This is just a loaded question, but it's so important. What is holding women back today from just really thriving? I mean, you work with women every day. So what's some of the things that hold them back? Because it seems like we've got Instagram now. They should be just fine. Or I shouldn't say they, but we as a people should be. They can go to Facebook. They can go to ChatGPT and get motivated on any given day that they want. But yet, even with all the AI stuff, they're still not thriving. So here's the question. What's holding women back today from thriving?
Well, and I think there's a distinction here, right? Because we're not saying that these women are not high achieving. They're not wealthy. They're not, in high positions. When I say thriving, I mean internal happiness. A lot of times what's holding us back is some of the traumas and the things that we've been through in our formative years that really turned into some of these limiting beliefs, some character traits, like we are not easily trusting, like we go out and we're trying to make everyone else happy because we somewhere got the feeling that everyone else's happiness was more important than ours. So a lot of times, even this extra drive and that we have are sometimes trauma responses to the things that we've done and been done to us in our past, that we're not able to just live this happy, fulfilling, and healing life that we all deserve.
Now, as you were saying that, I'm wondering on the other side. I know someone saying, Shay, she keeps talking about live happy, live happy, live happy. Some people are reading your bio. We'll get into how famous she is, ladies and gentlemen. Some people are already on your website. Okay, we'll get to that. But I can hear someone out there screaming loud and clear, Shay, she said live happy at least 3 or 4 times. Can you have her slow down and define what does live happy mean? Because it can mean different things to different people these days. So can we slow down for a moment and we'll speed up? Talk about what does live happy mean? What does it look like for you these days as you're talking about that? I think that's important. I like that.
So, no, it's very important. I think that, so for me personally, because it is a very personal thing, right? Living happy for me may not be living happy for the next person. But for me, it means that I've learned how to navigate the trauma. I've been through my healing process. And really, healing is more of a journey. But I'm to the point in my healing journey that little things don't trigger me like they used to. I can be unapologetically myself. I do not have to code switch. I do not have to change everybody else. And I am okay putting myself first. That is the biggest issue that I see with a lot of women is they really feel like they're carrying the weight of their family, their career, their community on their shoulders, but don't feel like they have support to just be themselves and say, you know what? No, this is not serving me right now. I need to do what's best for LeAnne in this moment. So for me, my first part of living happy is being unapologetically me. It's realizing that I can and I need to put myself first and for my own good, not just so I can be a better wife, a better mother, a better employee, so that I can be a better LeAnne every day.
So what do you say to the person that's watching right now because most of our audience, just to let you know, LeAnne, are dualpreneurs. They work in a full time job and they're also a full time entrepreneur. So, as you talk about being healed and fulfilled, what do you say to the woman that says, hey, listen, Shay, I got a full time job and I'm taking care of a husband or I got a significant other. Oh, by the way, can you let her know I also have kids? I mean, I have kids and my kids have schedules. So my kids have schedules. So I've got my schedule,
Yeah.
their schedule, and other schedules to juggle. Let her know as well, Shade, I'm also involved in the community and I've got a
Mhm.
lot going on. So when she's talking about healing first, what would she say to the person like me that's super busy and everyone's depending on me and I've got a lot going on? But I do want to live happy. Would you have a suggestion to them that might feel overwhelmed right now? And again, ladies, I know this is an unfair question because there's different folks at different places and spaces. But Leanna can frame the conversation. But overall, you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed. And you might be wondering, you got the expert says, wake up happy, sis. What does she recommend to someone like you that has so many competing priorities? And it's kind of unfair.
I mean, unfortunately, that's most women. And especially,
Mm.
I work predominantly with Black women, and that's most Black women. Those are our lives, whether we have a husband, a mate, or not. That's usually the life that we live. We've got our schedule, the kids' schedule, the spouse's schedule. We've got community, we've got church, we've got all of these things that we're doing that fall on our shoulders. But you still have to realize that you have to take care of your star player first, and that's yourself. So if you are not taking care of you to make sure that you are at your best, you're not giving anybody else your best. Or chances are you're giving them your best and you're left with nothing. You're left feeling empty, feeling depleted. It's just like the analogy I use of the saucer and the teacup. Most people give out of the teacup. They give everything they have until that thing is bone dry. You're only supposed to give out of your overflow. What's in the cup is for you. That is how you maintain your own internal happiness and your own internal fortitude and replenishment. And the overflow is what you give to other people. When you are full, you will always have an abundance to give. So you have to start carving out time for yourself. That is so important. We tend to put our own self care on the back burner because we're focused on everyone else's, but we have to focus on ours first. If that means you have an hour to yourself, you have 10 minutes to yourself, you get up 30 minutes earlier so that you have time to yourself where you can meditate, where you can just calm and center and refocus so that you can tackle all the things that you have to do. So it's just little things. You start
I
small
love it.
and build out from there.
I love it. As you're talking, they're saying, Shay, I didn't get a chance to read her bio. Okay, I'm driving right now. I'm listening to it in my ear pod. Somebody listen to the podcast. Some of you are watching this live. Some of you are watching on a streaming channel, and they might be wondering, who is this person that's speaking? Shay, I like what I'm hearing. It's making sense. What's her backstory? And what was the defining moment that led her to doing what she's doing now? So, the question, you may have heard it before, and here it is. Who are you? What's the backstory? We're all nosy. And number two, what was that defining moment that you said, you know what? This is what I'm called to do, and I'm stepping into it.
So, first off, I have been in the wellness industry for probably the last 15, somewhere between 15 and 17 years. I started out with a lifestyle magazine for Black women with natural hair, um, giving us a voice in a community where we were really voiceless. But I also had my own problems. I was morbidly obese. I weighed almost 300 pounds. I had my kids. I was in school. You know, I was in school, worked full time, had kids, and I was doing all of this trying to portray this happy image. But on the inside, I always felt like I was dying on the inside. I had good friends, I had good jobs, I had all these things that would make one think you're happy, but I wasn't. And when I started my magazine, it was called Natural Roots. It was because there was nothing out there for people like me. I had locks. It's really hard to maintain a professional environment because they never non-black people didn't think that locks and braids and things of that were professional styles. So I started building that out to give women a voice and to show that we can be professional, that our hairstyles are ornate, but they are professional as well. And it was at the point where my doctor told me if I did not lose weight, I would not be able to see my children grow up. That if I did not start taking better care of myself, that I wouldn't live to see my daughter probably reach 13 or 14. And so I started looking at the things that I was eating, looking at the things that I'm putting on my body as well as in my body. And that's when I started my second business, which was Dolce and Lay, which is a natural organic skincare line. So I am a certified formulator, and I wanted to make products that my family could use, that others like me could use, that was formulated by us for us, that took into account our needs. And from there, it just kind of built on because I realized I wasn't really getting to the crux of our problem. Yes, we need good products, but so many of the women that I talked to were hurting and they were tired and they were overwhelmed, and they, even though they were go-getters and they were had reached these levels in their professional lives, they were feeling a disconnect with their personal lives. They weren't happy and they didn't know why. And so I really went on a mission deep within and talking to these women to understand, where does that problem lie? And I realized it was a lot of the trauma and a lot of the things that we kind of lock away. Something happens, we kind of lock it deep down and we just move forward. But I realized that was not the way for us to live because we were not living our full lives. And that's where Wake Up Happy Sis was born, to build a network of support, to build training and opportunities for women to unapologetically put themselves first in their own lives, finally, to stop trying to be everyone's superwoman and to saving everybody else, and really to focus on, how do I save me first? Everyone else will benefit because I'm happy, healed, and whole.
I love it. Spot on, by the way. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being so authentic with us, by the way. And congratulations on your healthy journey. Very, very important. You know, you mentioned that you have the power over your life, and you help folks be able to do that so they can live happy. This is a great opportunity if you can, and you may have already said it, but maybe sum it up. If there were 3 steps for someone who's watching right now and says, wow, I'm ready to be that person. I want to be unapologetic. And if she had to lay back and say, here's step 1, and here's step 2, and here's step 3, and here's 3 steps that you can do to either put you back on the journey, if you got to get back on the journey, or to get started, what steps or what framework would you share? And you at home, you might want to lean in right now, because you're talking to someone that wants you to wake up happy every day. Want you to be someone to live unapologetic, and at the end of the day, want you to live the life you truly deserve. Isn't that kind of encouraging? So, question: what are 1, 2, 3 steps, or steps that you would share with anyone that's listening, so they can live the life they've always wanted?
So, the first is you have to start your healing journey and realizing that healing is not a destination. It is a journey. You will always have something that can trigger you back to the pain, to the hurt. But that healing journey teaches you how to navigate that so that it doesn't overwhelm you and consume you when these triggers come, that you know how to navigate these triggers and you don't get lost in the pain again. So that's the first, is take that healing journey. That may mean you work with somebody like me who is a wellness strategist or coach. You might have a therapist, and you might have both because we kind of focus in different areas, right? But start that healing journey so you can uncover what are those things that you really feel are holding you back from living this happy, healing, and fulfilling life that you deserve. Then you have to start setting boundaries. This is always the hard part for people because now, once I've sat through that pain, I've I've processed it and I understand where my triggers are and I'm working through that. Now I have to start putting boundaries in place so that people know how to engage with me properly. And the first boundary has to be with myself. I have to set boundaries with me of what I will and will not do anymore, what I will and will not accept, what is for my highest good and what is not. And then enforce that with those around me, right? And the enforcement is the hard part, because when you show people that you are changing, you are growing, and you are focusing on your wellness, you're going to get a lot of kickback. There's going to be a lot of people who are not happy because they no longer have the same level of access to you that they used to have. That's a big issue, right? But outside of that, the third thing, so now we've taken our journey, we've set boundaries. The third part, and this is what I tell everybody, I need you to write yourself a love letter. Write yourself a love letter, because you have to, and that starts with you looking in a mirror. Naked, look in a mirror, and you have to love everything you see in that mirror. It doesn't mean that you don't want to improve it. As you can see, I'm still not a small woman. I may not have meant to be small, but I love everything about me. It doesn't mean that I don't continue to try and improve upon it, but it means the person that's looking at me in the mirror right now, I love the hell out of her, and nobody can love her more than I do. So you write yourself a love letter, telling yourself how wonderful you are, but actually believing it. And if you don't believe it yet and you can't write it yet, because it's not as easy as it seems, you go back to therapy, you go back to counseling, you go back to coaching, and you work through those things. And it's just a cycle. You're going to keep going through that cycle, right? Love and accept yourself is that last piece.
Love and accept yourself. The last piece. You know, it's probably a good segment as you talk about that, or the segue, I should say, to a segment we have here called "Today is my January 1st." And the reason I say that, I mean, those folks that tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know what we're about to do. You can go ahead and say those magical words right now. Today is my January 1st. I know it feels good. Happy New Year to you, by the way. And for all the new folks who are joining for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We're glad you're here. We embrace you at the family. Today is my January 1st is our personal mantra. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is, or how bright and sunny that past is, the past no longer equals the future. And so, my question for LeAnne on the other side, as she's listening, is when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? What do you hear? And number two, what was another setback, a moment you had, there was a setback in your life, and how did you bounce back from it?
So I've had many January 1st in my life, because I do feel that everything that we go through is meant to happen. It's a part of building who we are, but it doesn't define us and it should not limit us. So I think my first time was when that doctor told me I had to change my life or I was going to die. That was one of the first ones, because that started me on this journey, right? Um, I've also had issues where I have been attempted to be raped. And that's a terrifying thing and it's a crippling thing. So I had to have a January 1st around that too. Because to me, that is wiping the slate clean. It's saying that I am not going to let my past define my future and my present. It's saying that regardless of who I was yesterday, the things that I've been through in my past, they are just a little piece of who I am as a person. They don't define the totality of LeAnne, and they don't always have to shape how I continue to act tomorrow. And so one big defining moment was for me was when I left corporate America. I had been working at government contracting agency in Washington State. And, they say last hired, first fired. I was doing great on my project. I'm 6 months in. Things are going well. About 5 months in, things are going great. I'm getting commendations. My VP is like, "We're going to start moving you into a new, into the whole West Coast." So my manager at that time, she ran the whole western half of the United States. So I think there was a little. She was probably about 20 years older than me too. So I think there was a little bit of jealousy and a little bit of concern because literally after that meeting, less than 1 month later, I was told our project had been defunded, but I was the only one being cut, right? That required me to have to really look at where I wanted to go in my life and me letting others be in charge of how I progressed through life. And I told myself I would never let that be my defining point again, that somebody else could just let me go like that, like I was nothing, like I was worthless to this project. And so that was my January 1st. And 17 years later, I am still nobody's employee. So, I think as women, as professionals, we have to sometimes take the reins in our hand. Everyone isn't meant to be an employee, just like everybody isn't meant to be a boss. There have to be chiefs and there have to be Indians, right? I meant to work for myself. I am meant to pave the way for others. And I really believe that with everything in my being. And I'm lucky that God has always made a way for me and a platform and given me opportunities like this to share little bits of who I am so that I can help pull up the next generation of leaders and business owners right behind me.
I love it. Thanks again. I mean, you're just so transparent. You're just so open. And I feel like the person we're all speaking to, ladies and gentlemen, is the real deal. By the way, so the person you see on the other side, how she is today, is how you're gonna find her on social media, and how you're gonna find her in person. It's just how she rolls. One of my favorite questions to ask when I get a chance, and we have a chance to do it on this episode, is what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? And I'll frame it for the audience because she's had a lot of mentors. Okay, so for her to reach out and grab one, she can probably grab anyone and grab one. So it's kind of, that's why I said what's one of the best pieces of advice. She's read so many books. You probably can't remember all the books she's read. I'm sure. I don't know how many videos you watched on YouTube and on social media today. It's probably countless hours. But if you had to
Yeah.
step back and say, this is one of the best pieces of advice that's ever been given to me that I'm going to pass on to the audience, what would it be? And more importantly, why?
Hmm. I would have to say one of my mentors is Trevor Otts. And he always says that you need to invest in yourself at the level with which you expect results or that you want results. And that's a mantra that I have lived by because a lot of times when we go and we're looking for help and we're looking for support, we're trying to put a price tag on that of value. Oh, I can't pay somebody $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to be my coach, right? Now, when I've done that, people look at me like I'm crazy. Why are you doing that? Why would you pay somebody that much? We'll invest in the stock market, we'll invest in property, we'll invest in clothing and shoes and all these other things, but we do not invest in our wellness and our happiness with the same vigor and fervor. And I take that to heart with me because I don't just talk this talk, I walk it. I will go and I will get the help that I need in any area of my life and pay people what is necessary because I am priceless. I can't put a dollar amount on my learning, on my wealth, on my education, on my health. Because if somebody gave you the offer of $10 million today, but you die tomorrow, I'm taking life every time. That means that I am more valuable than the money. I am more valuable than all these other things. And I have to treat myself accordingly. And I treat myself very well. So if I'm going to go out and splurge on making me happy, I need to also be willing to invest that same amount in making sure I'm healthy and making sure that I am well. Excuse me, all of these things. So that I think is one that I take with me everywhere I go.
I love it, by the way. What do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days? You seem to be having a lot of fun. Every time you talk about it, you get this smile. I see this twinkle in your eye. You're like, yeah, your energy just revs up. For someone who's here today, your energy just goes to a whole nother level when you start talking about it. I should say the passion is the energy that's coming out. So the question is, what do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days?
What I really love is when a woman tells me that I've helped her really see herself in a different light. Because when I meet a person, I can feel their energy, all of this. So sometimes I see stuff for them that they don't even see for themselves yet,
Wow.
right? And so I really love when a woman can come back to me and say, just as, thank you, you have changed my life. I really love being able to work with women and give them experiences that sometimes they may have never had in their life, and the ability to be unapologetic about their happiness, unapologetic about their self care and their wellness. Saying that I'm going to put myself first, and I'm okay if you think that you know, if you think that's an issue, because in my life, I have to come first. I can't serve anybody else in any capacity if I am always operating at 0%. So I have to give myself the best so that I can in turn give everybody else my best.
Hmm. Ah, wonderful. What do you do for fun? We're not out saving the world, spending time with the kids. What do you do for fun these days?
Oh, I'm the biggest foodie. I will travel for food. Hence why I'm not a small girl. I will probably never be a small girl. But I love to travel. I love to eat. Again, I'm a big foodie. Um, and just spending time with really good friends. I don't need to go
Mm.
to a bunch of clubs and stuff like that, but just nice little gatherings with my friends where we talk business, we talk all manner of things, right? And just having groups of people that I can travel with. Traveling is one of my best things. I'm actually moving into a digital nomad lifestyle starting next year, to where I'm selling everything that I own essentially, and I'm just going to go live somewhere else for a while.
Okay. Now,
So,
what do you like to travel? You can't leave us hanging. You keep saying, "I love to travel." Look, they're like, Shay, what's one of the places likes to travel and why? Like we're right on the edge right now.
I mean, one of my favorite places that I've been probably was Greece.
Wow.
I've been to Africa. I've obviously been to Europe,
Yeah.
um, Mexico. I've not been to South America yet, but I've got plans. So
Okay.
I'm trying to map out my journey now. So Mexico, there's a lot of Black expat communities around the world. Thailand is definitely big on my list of places where I want to go. Um, Egypt, I got to go see the pyramids. So I
Yeah.
travel everywhere. I am an international traveler. Have passport, will travel anywhere. So anybody who wants to take me on a trip, my birthday is coming up. So anybody who wants to take me on a trip, let's go. Let's go.
You're all in for that. She's all in for that. I love it. Haven't been to Greece, been to Mexico and other places, and certainly is on my list of things to do. So that's pretty cool. As we come down the home stretch, two-part question. Number one, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days, if any? I don't know if your firm is booked. And number two, how can folks best connect with you? How can they stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have right now?
Well, I am looking for those motivated, high achieving Black women who are really looking to make that transition in their life from just surviving to unapologetically thriving, to living their happiest, most fulfilled life because they have a couple of blocks that they need to get past, right? That's who I'm looking to work for and to work with and to support. Women who are looking for community, they're looking for a sisterhood, that support mechanism. They want, yeah, the sisterhood and the community. And again, they're willing to invest in themselves because they understand that it takes money to be able to do any of the things you want in life. So if you are at a place to where you cannot invest in yourself, we still have free resources for you. You just may have to work up until you are able and ready to work with us on that level. But we want those high achieving Black women who are overwhelmed, who are overworked, who are tired of the status quo, and they want to learn how to live their best, happiest, most fulfilling life. And how can you contact me and stay in this conversation? You can head on over to wakeuphappysis.com. You can look us up on pretty much any social media platform. Um, and you will find us. Facebook, we have a free Facebook group. It's called Wake Up Happy Sis. And you can come and join that community for free. And we are opening up our network membership coming next month where you can join this sisterhood, and it's only $67 a month. That's less than me going out to eat one day, honestly.
Love it. That's perfect. That's first of all, thanks for sharing. Thanks for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show, and thanks for giving it. We appreciate it. Got to have you back.
Yes, I would love to come back.
And thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, because really, without you, we realize there is no show. And so I never get tired of sharing what you do. We appreciate you. Yeah, it's kind of cool when you hit the like button, and that's cool. But more importantly for us, when you hit the share button. Like when you pay this message forward to someone else so their life can be better, their business can be better, their family can be better. We really appreciate that. With that being said, I never get tired of sharing every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that you, as you're watching right now, you're someone really, really special. You're just an incredible human being. You're someone that's doing some cool stuff in the world. You're making a difference and you're doing the best you can. And as you're watching right now, I believe today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, your best is still yet to come. Isn't that encouraging? Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name hasn't changed. It's still Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless. Thanks a lot, LeAnne. We out of here, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Peace.